nationality is Edom. We're the descendants of Esau, and whom most people on this earth call the white people, or the white race. But the Edom in the Bible comes from Esau. He's the twin brother of Jacob, which you can read about in Genesis chapter 25. Esau came out red and hairy like a garment, and his blood showed forth through his skin. So he was from there called Esau, because it means red. And you'll notice that white people, when they get angry or whatever, their skin turns red. Any type of skin condition, it'll be red. It's a biblical description, so you can know who these people are in the earth at all times, even these times, the end times. So yes, I am an Edomite. My thoughts on the Negroes or the so-called Negroes that are asleep in these times. It's kind of sad, but it's actually a really good thing. It's number one, it proves that the prophecy of the Valley of the Dead Bones. How could these people wake up from their sleep? At least we know that these people are asleep, and now they're waking up. Now is the time that they need to wake up. Now is the time. It's getting pretty close, and they are waking up. But no, the Negroes themselves, or what they like to call themselves, or what this whole world likes to call these people, are black people. But that kind of broadens the spectrum. That's like it's just as bad as calling a white person a white person. There's different types of white people, different nations of white people, just as there are different nations of black people. There's different nations of Asian people, or so-called black people, and black is a color. There's no such thing as color when you're naming nations. Nations comes from fathers, and it's really ignorant to call people black people. But if you do the research, the true nationality of the so-called black people is Israelite, or Hebrew Israelites. The true nationality of the so-called black people is Israelite, or Hebrew Israelites.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
All right. I understand that in a few generations from now, people that look like me will serve your tribe.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because Africa. I know we have differences.
Right. Okay.
We have differences, but I see that, and I just want to ask you guys politely to not be as oppressive as we would. That's all I ask.
Whenever we have the rule,
You're right.
we're ruling over you.
That's
right?
right.
Okay. Not be oppressive as you were with us, as you see
Now
what
the
y'all
thing
done.
is, if you guys are, I don't fucking blame you. Pardon the French.
Right. Okay.
But I don't want to get into the stuff that I don't agree with you guys about. I just want to leave it at that.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right. No problem.
But I wanted to do a brief lesson, piggybacking on some other lessons on the 12 tribes of Israel, and show from Scripture, from the Old Testament and the New Testament, focusing on 4 passages primarily, showing that the Hebrews, the Israelites, are people of color. All right. Now, this teaching offends Khazars. This teaching offends Europeans in general. But it's timely. And I repeat this over and over and over again, but it's timely, and it needs to be discussed, and it needs to be talked about. Okay, so I want to get right into it. The biblical Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, were people of color. They would be so-called black people today, okay? And they're still that way, all right? The Egyptians who are living in Egypt now are not who was living there back when the Bible was being compiled, okay? Those people have been pushed into the Sudan, okay? But let me read our first passage in Genesis 42, and this is talking about when Joseph had risen to power in Egypt. This is a passage concerning his brethren coming down from the land of Canaan, and because they were similar people, the Israelites and the ancient Hebrews and the Egyptians, because they were similar in features and characteristics, his own brothers couldn't tell him apart from the Egyptians. Okay? His own flesh and blood. Alright, let's read it. Genesis 42, verses 4 through 7. Okay? But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob, sent not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land. And he it was sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph was a high-ranking official. He actually rose to second in command behind Pharaoh before it was all said and done, okay? The second most powerful man on the earth, okay? And verse 7, and Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, whence come ye? And they said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. And let's go to verse 8, because this is the key verse. Okay? And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. Like I said, they couldn't even tell their own brother from the Egyptian people. Okay? Alright. Why? Obviously, we're going to find out why here as we go along. It's because they were similar in color. Okay?
The true nationality of the so-called black people is Israelite or Hebrew Israelites, and they're a nation of people who descended from Jacob, who was later named Israel, who had 12 sons who became the 12 tribes, who multiplied into the uncountable number of Israelites that are as the sands of the seas today. Can't count them, there's so many. Yes, they are Hebrew Israelites, and that's not a religion, that's not a cult, it's strictly a nationality bloodline of people, and it's that simple. They're a bloodline, and you cannot convert into being an Israelite. You can't, change to be an Israelite. You are what your father was, what your forefathers are. I can't claim to be an Israelite because I know for a fact that I'm an Edomite. Israel was not my forefather. Esau was, based on the biblical descriptions.